we negotiate our self-worth when we tell that lie. We invalidate, we self-betray when we tell that lie. Right? Because what I believe that the underpinning of that response is, once again, I'm so used to my needs not being met, or I'm so used to compulsively performing masculinity in such a way where I have to present as strong, I have to present as put together, I have to present as these things, that if somebody were to ask me, do I need something, I'm supposed to say no. I'm supposed to, no, bro, that's a fucking lie. Like, you know you not cool, you know you not good. Oh, what's talking about it gonna do? Talking about it not gonna fix it. External processing is one of the most effective ways to problem solve. External processing is one of the most effective ways to problem solve. Whether you are doing a math problem, whether you are brainstorming, whether you are attempting to figure out a business plan. Once again, external processing is one of the most effective ways to problem solve. The issue is that you do not want to be seen as incompetent. You don't want to be seen as non-valuable. You don't want to be seen as somebody who cannot do. Once again, you are engaging in people-pleasing behaviors.
I want to talk to you about what ends up happening when we don't externally process, when we don't talk about it. The vices that we end up engaging in.
Oh yeah.
What are those?
So I just got through working at a mental health and wellness and substance abuse hospital.
Okay.
And I am very gifted at doing groups, as you know, right?
That's a fact.
There we go.
Got a group inside of Safe Haven, by the way.
Check it out. Yeah. Shameless plugs out to this bitch.
All I'm saying.
You feel me?
Want to do this work.
We don't just talk about the problems, we provide solutions.
That's a fact.
You feel me?
Odi is in Safe Haven.
You feel me? First and third Tuesday of the month. You feel me? Come slide. But yeah.
Third, come get this work.
You feel me?
Go ahead, my brother.
So the common theme of folks who struggle with substance use is abuse, neglect, harm, or they call it boredom, but what it really is that it is an inability to regulate without being stimulated, right? A number of men have experienced, they call them adverse childhood experiences, right? ACEs.
Yep.
Right? So for those of you all who are not aware, the ACEs are, once again, abuse, harm, neglect, a parent in the house who has an undiagnosed mental health disorder, a parent in the house who utilizes substances or is abusing substances themselves, a divorce, a parent who has gone to prison, a parent, seeing a parent being abused and experiencing interpersonal domestic abuse within the household overall, right? When I have done these groups at the hospital and we run down the ACEs, very few people put their hand down before 5 of these things. So that's half of the list, right? So that's one layer. The second layer is the way in which we discuss adultifying Black boys. The point at which we begin having the conversation of adultification is when we begin exposing them to the neglect, the harm, and abuse that we experience as Black men that we believe made us better men.
Ooh, say that again.
The point at which we begin having conversations around adultifying little Black boys is the point at which we begin exposing them to the same abuse, harm, and neglect that we experience as Black men that makes us that makes us believe that it made us better Black men, right?
What does that look like?
Withholding affirmation.
Okay.
Invalidating emotional responses. Exposing them to physical violence. Hypersexualizing them. And that's one that we do not talk about often, right? Identifying and engaging with them from the perspective of your worth is now tied to what it is that you do and how well you do it, right? This adultification of young Black boys can happen as early as 8, 9, or 10. When we look at it from the perspective of trauma, so Dr. Gabor Mate, I love his work, and he is a physician that works specifically in spaces of child development and addiction. He said that there are 2 types of trauma. One trauma is acute trauma. It's when things happen to you that were not supposed to happen to you, right? That's the trauma that we're most familiar with. Then there's developmental trauma, and developmental trauma is when things that were supposed to happen to you did not.
Okay.
Right? So the affirmation, the love, the security, all of these things, when they were supposed to happen, they did not. So the presence of pain, but also the absence of comfort causes trauma.
Okay.
The presence of harm, but the absence of stability causes trauma.
Right.
The presence of injury, but the absence of medication, the absence of healing, the absence of attending to that pain, that trauma, that harm also causes trauma, right? We, with little Black boys, begin removing that element of, yo, come here, let me give you a hug, let me help you co-regulate, we begin isolating little Black boys very early because once again, we believe that's what makes them a man. We believe that isolation, we believe that you gotta learn, the world is not gonna treat you well, so I'm not gonna treat you well. The world is not gonna give you this, so I'm not gonna give you this, right? If you take that, I just want you to hear when I say this, Kizzle. When you take that and you invert it, that is the reason why so many men complain about having to deal with the world and wanting to come home and not have to deal with that. Because from a very early age, their homes were not safe for them because their homes thought that they were doing them a favor and attempting to prepare them for the world outside. If you already know that this little Black boy is going to have to face this from the world, why would you replicate that trauma in your house? Why would you replicate the trauma in your house? If you know that the world is already going to be his boot camp, his war, his battlefield, why would you not make your house an infirmary? Why would you not make your home a place of safety?
Because they're saying, and this is not me, their rebuttal, and I know you know the rebuttal, is I got to prepare him for the world.
Right. You have to prepare him for the world, but you're also sending him into the world incomplete. You're also sending him you are also sending him into the world without love. You are also sending him into the world without support. You're also sending him into the world missing these neurotransmitters that substances fill.
Right.
Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. You get dopamine from being not only just completing tasks, but feeling as if though this completion of this task has made you feel worthy. Right? It's dopamine. Serotonin. You get serotonin from engaging with community. You get oxytocin from physical contact with that community.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on, somebody you could preach to. Know you need to hear it, my brother.